I'm going to start with one of the first presentations and one of the most uncommon presentations actually that I want to talk to you about. So what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to show you different presentations, the differential diagnosis in these presentations, and how to differentiate remedies, and what are my clinical tips that I want you to remember. Okay. One of the commonest presentations. This is one of the cases which I have seen. A 30-year-old lady. I saw her in France, online consultation, which I did. She developed, and the history goes like this, that initially she developed a lot of burning in the chest, a lot of chills. It comes with chill, then heat, then sweat. So a lot of stages which are clear: chill, heat, sweat. It keeps changing constantly. Chill generally begins from legs. It's massively in the chest, and it always feels better after covering. There is no thirst at all. So now here you can see how we are trying to understand different stages, different peculiarities in fever. A lot of weakness during chills. So when you're studying a case of fever, and because we have many students here, I want to teach you that the fever can have different stages. There can be a prodrome stage. There can be a chill stage, heat stage, sweat stage. There also can be a apyrexia stage, where there is no fever or no stage at all. And then there is a post kind of fever stage. So many different stages. In different remedies, different stages may be present or absent. And different symptom, different fever may have different stages. For example, I give you an example. Prodrome means symptoms before. Okay. Now, staphysagria has a symptom of extreme hunger before fever, or in apyrexia, for example. So that is a clinching diagnosis for staphysagria. Interesting. Rustox has a symptom, dry cough before chills. That's a clinching diagnosis for chills of Rustox. Chill, heat, sweat. Depending on which stage is prominent. Also, there are certain remedies. Chill stage prominent. Camphora, Arenia diadema, China, Rustox. Heat stage prominent, Bryonia, Arsenicosum. Sweat stage very prominent, Caladium. Symptoms more prominent in apyrexia. Thirst during apyrexia, China. Post fever. What are the symptoms post fever? So these are the different stages. Now in some remedies, there are different stages. For example, chill may alternate with heat. Nakswamika, one of the remedies. In some cases, chill stage will be absent. In some remedy, heat stage will be absent. In some cases, sweat will come, then chill, then heat. In some cases, heat, then chill, then sweat. So all this basically points out towards remedies. Are you all with me? I'm trying to explain you a very complex topic right from the basics so you understand the depth of it. I don't want you to randomly, okay, just give this remedy, give it. No. The entire thing is you still have to individualize. I want to teach you the idea of individualization. There is no specific. There is individualization. Even the specific, there is individualization in it. And there are beautiful repertories for it. You will read about this in one of my book. I don't know how many of you have read the book, Art of Repertorization. Hopefully some of you have read, hopefully. Maybe some of you haven't. And that's a repertory I use a lot in fever. In fact, I used it a lot, especially last year. I used this repertory a lot in many complicated COVID cases, etc. And if you want to treat fevers very confidently, one of the repertories that you want to learn is Boger-Bonninghausen repertory. And the best way to learn it is actually solve cases. And the best way to do it also is to one of the books that you can use is my book, which I have written, Art of Repertorization. If you have not read that, you can read the preface of Boger-Bonninghausen repertory. And there is one more book by the great Dr. Bhanu Desai, How to Use Boger-Bonninghausen repertory for Similimum. So that's another book. So if you see very beautifully, why I'm showing you this is because see how beautifully the repertory is formed. There is in fever section, that is a heat section. You can see there is a rubric, fever compound, and then it's written beginning with chill, then heat with thirst. So you understand here. So you have to ask that your fever first chill came or heat came. So if a patient says, "Oh, I got chill and then heat," and there was a lot of thirst in both the stages, then you come to these 12 remedies: aconite, belladonna, borax, senna, drosera, hiparsal, mercury, pulsatilla, rootstock, sickle cord, spigelia, sulfur. So beautiful, no? In some case, another case may come and tell you, "Doctor, I got lot of shivering and then heat stage." So shivering, then heat. There are different set of remedies: Nakswamika, sepia, Staphylos aureus, sulfur, so on. So this is a beautiful kind of section in Boger Bonninghausen's repertory, which gives you a lot of idea, uh, kind of towards individualizing fever symptoms. So if you're treating complex cases of fever, think about this book, which is an absolute magnificent kind of book. Okay, let's come back. Yeah, let's come back to our case. So I'm talking about this case. The reason I told you a little bit about the other aspects also, so that you will know what we are actually trying to do. That's what I want you to learn. End of the day, not just a remedy, but I want to learn. I want you to learn the process. What goes on? What is the mapping in the brain? How do you map? That's what I want you to learn. Okay, so we are talking about this lady who has a lot of chills. It begins with chill, then heat, then sweat. It changes suddenly. Sometimes chill, then alternating with heat, then sweat. And chill begins from cough. Constantly wants to be covered. No thirst. No thirst, remember. Lot of weakness during chills. And heat, especially in forehead and chest. Wants to uncover during heat flushes. No thirst. Again, in heat stage, no thirst. Lot of sweat. Doesn't feel better after sweating. Lot of headache. Headache is typically a lot of congestion, and especially when they get up in the morning. A cough, typically, which is kind of slight expectoration in paroxysms, aggravated talking, better by covering. So you can see uncovering aggravates. So covering desire is very strong. Food tastes very salty generally, doctor, she says, and a lot of backache, which is better by movement. A lot of weakness also, weakness felt while talking and better when lying. Coryza is also felt. Coryza typically is from both sides, and there is a nose block aggravated after eating. A lot of discharge from the eyes, more on the left eye. Appetite is okay, generally thirstless. Stool is very loose, offensive, very chilly, wants to be covered. And my mind, she says, I'm constantly thinking about what will happen. Should I do this? Should I do that? I remain very worried. And my mind is working overtime, doctor, she says. And want to be alone. But I get dreams that my dream is very active, full of people, full of doing something, that thing. Constantly my mind is active. So when I study this case very beautifully, and I'm going to cut the chase for you, I try to look at the most peculiar things in the case, and I try to analyze. So when I analyze this case, and I want to show you the rubrics I took, chill, uncovering, aggravate. So this is a very strong symptom. I'm just taking the very strong symptom in the case. Mouth, food taste very salty. Okay. Especially during fever also. And fever, beginning with chill, then heat. Cold, uncovering, aggravates. And there are a few set of remedies. I've just taken very few rubrics and then I differentiate with more symptoms. And one of the main remedies that came is, you can see a very beautiful remedy. China. Yes, China. You should also remember China is generally thirstless in all the stages and their mind is very active. Their mind is very active, China typically. Huh? just to give you a little idea about the remedy China, because this is the remedy I have used the maximum. If you ask me, the top remedy I have used in presentations where there are chill, um, especially in India and in France, the top remedy I've used is Cinchona, China. And generally, I start with 200 C, and if it doesn't work, I may go to 1M. Okay. What are the main things I want you to know about Cinchona? And I will also tell you what happened in the case a little later. And this is a small formula which I have made so that most of you can just look at this symptoms in a case and prescribe. You still have to repertorize the case, but I also want to give you a little clinical hint. There is always intermittency or periodicity. So either patient will tell you that every day at 7 p.m. I get fever, or they will say my fever comes and goes. These are the two things that you will see in China. Remember, China 90% of the time is thirstless. Put it in your mind. China is thirstless. Thirstless during chill, heat, and sweat. Generally thirsty after chill heat, in apyrexia stage. The prodrome is lot of hunger, headache, and sneezing. Generally, what I have seen in China is chill in one part of the body. It could begin from anywhere, from legs. I've also seen very often China patients say, I get chills beginning from chest. Also China. Lot of bitter taste in the mouth. That's very typical for Cinchona. Lot of bitter taste in the mouth. Desire for tea, stimulants, aggravated by uncovering. And there's a lot of weakness in this remedy. A lot of weakness. Cinchona, China. Chill beginning from legs. Shaking chills for hours without thirst. So they are constantly shaking. Almost reminds you of the remedy Arenia diadema. But in Arenia diadema, only chill stage is prominent. There is no other stages at all. Okay. Dry cough with lot of pain in the abdomen during heat. Sweat with thirst. Sweating is there during heat. One very important thing about China is that one hand is cold, another hand is warm. There is either increased or decreased hunger during fever and chill. Clear-cut stages. So this is very important. In generally in China, the stages are very, very clear. The patient gets chills, then heat, then sweat. Or will either get only chills. This is the other thing that you will see in China. So this is a little bit of formula of China. Also remember, China mind is very, very active. Overactive mind. And very often I've seen the China patient, they say that, if only I could get some kind of a tea, if I could get some herbal tea with a lot of spices in it, I would love it. This is something that I've seen in Cinchona. And finally, also, they always want to be covered. This is a remedy you want to keep in today's time as a top remedy you want to give to patients who have these symptoms, and they will help when the remedy is indicated. So I told the patient to take China 200C, and I generally asked to take 4 hourly. Most of these cases, 90% of the times, the acute case, are followed up at a daily level. I cannot personally follow up with all the patients because there are hundreds of cases in the acutes. So I have an entire team who works overtime with following up at a 24-hourly level, where they can follow up, they can message whenever needed in this way. So this is what I do. Very important, I repeat again, very important is follow-ups. Many doctors will tell you to give this remedy, give that remedy. I would tell you follow-up is more important than the first consultation. So just with China, beautifully, first 24, 48 hours, beautiful change. The chilliness, the heat flushes, the backache, everything beautifully improved. No stage of fever. Headache still remained. What was the symptom of the headache? There was a lot of pain. And the peculiarity of the headache was tight bandaging ameliorate or hard pressure ameliorate. Now, this is beautiful because that is one of the main symptoms of China. That is the heart pressure ameliorate. So I know that still China was indicated. So I took her case again in the follow up. Okay. And now I knew that with her mind being active, too much active still, and this pressure ameliorate, she requires China but higher potency. So I gave China 1M 8 hourly for 2 days. Okay. Because still China is indicated. Now you see, when you want to prescribe the remedy again, you should see if there are indications of that remedy again. So I'm trying to teach you also in the follow up, if a remedy is helping and not taking to the next level in the acute. Okay. And there is a kind of a standstill. Then in these type of cases, you have to see if the remedy is still indicated. Think about China. So I gave 1M, and beautifully with the help of that, the patient did very, very, very beautifully well. There was a beautiful change. So I made this small map, which I'm going to share it with every single participant today. So you will possibly different presentation. One of the presentations is fever and chills. And in that, the top remedy that I have used, one of the top remedies is China. The next very, very important remedy that I want to tell you about is the remedy, which is a very common remedy, but I've used it a lot as well in today's time, is Nakswamika. The main symptom of Nakswamika, which I want to tell you, is lot of chills. But one thing which I've seen in Nakswamika is that there is a lot of sensitivity to noise. It's almost as if patient tell that, the noise goes in my head like this. That's typically China. That's typically Nakswamika. Very sensitive to noise. Lot of nausea. And they often, few patients who required Nakswamika, they said that, don't ask me so many questions. I feel so irritable. I don't want that noise of my son. I don't want to talk to my husband. Just leave me alone, guys. That's Nakswamika. Chills with throat symptom, very sensitive to noise. Lot of nausea. And the throat symptoms, typically, always better by eating. And one of the things which I have seen in Nakswamika, they often say, doctor, there is a kind of a scraping sensation. I feel as if there is something scraping in the throat. That's Nakswamika, ladies and gentlemen. The next top remedy which I want to tell you about is a very common remedy. You know about it very well, but I'm going to still tell you a little bit about it. Before we go ahead with that, I want to tell you about the last three symptoms of Nakswamika. Very anticipating about Nakswamika. Nakswamika often say, doctor, I feel I'm going to get chills. This is very important for Nakswamika. Anticipating chills. Also alternating stages. Chill, heat. Chill, heat. Want to be covered in all stages, even sweat. And the last symptom that I want to tell you about Nakswamika is they often get dry cough, which is aggravated lying down. You know this famous symptom. I remember this symptom was taught to me by the great Dr. Vijay Vaishnav, my first teacher, who I absolutely love and admire. So you can see this very beautiful symptom that he had taught me. And I've seen that this time in many cases. You can see this in Kent repertory. You can see dry cough. Okay. Especially starts at night, midnight, goes till daybreak. And dry cough aggravated lying on the back and better by lying on the side. Now, dry cough lying on the back, better by lying on the side. And it's almost disturbing the sleep constantly. And lot of dryness feeling inside. This is typically Nakswamika. Remember the remedy. So this is something that I want you to know. Aggravated lying on the side, aggravated lying on the back, better lying on the side, and especially cough starts from midnight till until daybreak. So that's something I want you to remember. Nakswamika. The next remedy I want to tell you about is root stocks. Root stocks is also a very, very important remedy. We don't give so much of importance to it, but it's a kind of a very important remedy that I want to talk to you about. I myself personally developed symptoms of flu, which I myself treated with root stocks. And the main thing was in the fever and the body ache that I was getting, my feet were very, very restless. I wanted to walk constantly. I would get up and walk, and that would make me feel better. I couldn't sit still. This is typically Rustox. Typically, chill begins on the right side. A lot of restlessness, better by motion, very chilly, and dry cough before the chill. There is a kind of a cough before the fever chill start. Typically, there can be a lot of itching symptoms during heat and sweat stage. Always better by warmth. They constantly want to have warm food. I remember I wanted to have chicken soup. Typically, soup cravings also there in bryonia. Just for your information. Lot of fever blisters, Rustox, and craving for cold water and cold milk, also Rustox. So this is a little bit. I wanted to give you an idea about the fever. Another very beautiful remedy I want to tell you about, gelsemium. Absolutely top remedy. I think it's very underrated remedy, and we are not talking about it so often. Gelsemium. Chill predominating, and it generally gelsemium will be in the first 4 days of fever. Okay, it may not be indicated after 7 days, especially in the first 4 days. Remember, gelsemium chill stage is more predominating. And the other thing I want to tell you is this is the top remedy I've used globally in India, in the US, in Europe. Whenever patient tell me that after vaccination I am getting body ache, after vaccination I'm getting chills, after vaccination I'm getting fever, after vaccination I'm getting aching, body ache, pains, the top remedy is gelsemium. Gelsemium 202 times a day for 3 days. Gelsemium, remember the remedy. Chills and fever post vaccination, remember. Chills predominating. One another very beautiful symptom of gelsemium is when you ask them, okay, show your tongue, and there is trembling in the tongue like this, they will remove the tongue. Trembling of tongue. Acha, during fever, gelsemium. Why do I say that? Remember, you should know materia medica in and out. Every single thing that I tell you, remember, has to be, absolutely has to be written in materia medica. देखो क्या लिखा है? देखो, trembling tongue, trembles, boric, gelsemium. Trembling of tongue. Okay. You also know the thirstlessness, the dullness, the lethargicity. Typically, chills begin on the spine. That's also very important for gelsemium. Lot of sweat in the genitals. There is a kind of very offensive sweat of genital gelsemium feel. Gelsemium will often tell you there's a lot of sweat I get, or sometimes you see a gelsemium patient and you will get some weird smell, and that will often be from the genital. There's a lot of sweat there. And the last thing, gelsemium want to lie still. They want to lie still like this, like bryonia. Very beautiful. There are more remedies which we have used, the typical bryonia, the typical arsenic, but I'm not going to tell you about it because you already know about these remedies very well. So this is few of the presentations of fever which I've used. So namaste from Mumbai. I am Dr. Gaurang, based in Mumbai. So we have just recently started the course on classical homeopathy. This is a 7-month course. It's a weekend online course, one of its kind, with close to about 20 global homeopaths teaching so much in depth about organon, materia medica, repertory, that I would want to invite every single homeopath there for this course. You can join anytime. It would be 120 hours. It would be only weekends. And the recordings would be available for 1 year. So you will get to see the videos again and again close to 1 year. So that would be a major advantage for any homeopathic student who is either studying homeopathy in college or an intern or a practitioner. There is something for everyone. Once you join the course, you also become part of one of the WhatsApp groups, one of the top WhatsApp homeopathic groups, or a top group that we have curated, where we'll be putting up a case every week and you will be solving cases. So this solving cases helps a lot. Now almost close to 50 cases we have put gradually. We are going to be putting, and you can solve it. That's a very special thing that you could do. Not just about organon, materia medica and repertory, we'll also talk so much about different approaches. You're treating cases of acutes. how we can treat cases of currently acute COVID, how we are using remedies like streptococcinum, pyrogenium, influenzinum in today's acutes, how we are using the remedy China, for example. Today I saw a case, chills begin from back. One of the top remedies, Eupatorium perfoliatum. So these kind of very important kind of clinical indication. We will also talk about other approaches, how to treat hormonal cases. Here in my clinic in Mumbai, you can see this is my clinic. We are treating many PCOD cases, thyroid cases, endometriosis cases. What is the approach? How I use sarcodes, how I use nosodes, how to use organ specific remedies, how to use backflower remedies, how to use star of betel, how to use biochemics in today's time with cough and cold, little dullness, malaise, whitish discoloration of discharge, tongue white, calimuriaticum 6x, how we are using it. So there are so many different approaches we are going to be talking, and that is why with open arms I want to invite every single one of you. You can join, be a part of us. There are close to 650 doctors who have already joined, and we have a limit of 900 seats for now. So you can write to us, write to me. There will be an entire email ID with all the details of the course below. You can write gaurang@gmail.com, and it would be so good to study with you. Namaste.